Hi, I'm Frances. This video is going to be about the KCG collections team and how new items are taken into the collection. The Knitting and Crochet Guild's collection in 100 Objects project aimed to make the collection more accessible for those of you who can't see the items in person. During the project, we showed you 100 objects, which is a very small portion of the total number of items held in the collection and cared for by the volunteers. For the past 2 years, the KCG Collections team has been working really hard to bring you the wonderful 100 Objects project. This involves many people working together, bringing each of their specialities and ideas. I filmed previously some interviews where I chatted to 3 of the volunteers about what they enjoy when working with the collection. We're going to show you those now, but then I will be back to talk about how the collection has become a collection. Here you go.
Hi, Crab.
Hi.
So first up, can you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about why you chose to volunteer with the Guild?
Well, I'm Prab and I go to Huddersfield University. I'm a textile student and I'm actually specialising in weave. I chose to volunteer with the Guild to get a new aspect about textiles and the history of textiles. So even though I'm a weaver, it was brilliant to learn more knowledge about all the different other specialisms, especially knit, because I think they are more like closely linked.
I think getting inspiration from different art forms is really useful, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
What do you enjoy about volunteering at the Guild?
So many things, for meeting new people, seeing all the objects, all the history. Like I got to see the oldest item, which was Captain Tweedy's hat, which was very nice. It was an opera jacket, and just walking through history, because I didn't know what a night jacket was. I was like, is it a nightgown? And I was like, no, you used to wear it to when you were going to bed. And I was just like, oh, so it was just nice to see all these new things that we don't have no longer.
You helped with the 100 Objects project, didn't you? Do you have a favourite object from that project?
Oh, I liked the wedding dress. The wedding dress, it was very nice. It was, I think, the crocheted wedding dress. It was lovely to see. And there was actually, from years ago, it was actually photographed with the woman who made it. And she wore it on her wedding day. And it was lovely to see it in use and how it's been preserved. It was amazing.
Sounds good. What are the skills and experiences you gained from volunteering with the Guild?
I learned so many skills, from organisational to being part of a team, accessioning. It was amazing. I think the best skill I learned was working as a team and being more part of a team, because the 100 Objects brought us all together, because we were looking for items, because there are so many more than 100. Like, it was hard to dwindle it down to just 100, and seeing all the different aspects of everyone coming together.
And finally, what are the good and bad bits from volunteering at the Guild?
Well, there are no bad bits. Everything is good. I'd say the only bad bit would be that it's only 2 days. And I think another thing would be that you can't really go to the Guild without obviously phoning or going in. So it would be nice if it was always open. So maybe like in the future we could one day be a museum or a gallery or something. That would be wonderful. There are so many good bits, meeting new people, going on trunk shows, organising them. It was amazing.
Brilliant. Thank you for agreeing to this interview. So I'll say hi. I'm Frances. Hi. So I'm with Alex today, and we're going to talk about a bit of volunteering with the Knitting and Crochet Guild. Hi. Do you want to introduce yourself, Alex, and tell us a bit about why you choose to volunteer with the Guild?
Yes, I will. I'm Alex Rudkin, and I've been volunteering at the KCG for over 6 years now. And the thing that drew me in, strangely enough, was a an article in the local paper, and it had a photograph of Anne Harrod and Maureen and Barbara showing things that were in the guild, and I hadn't realised that this collection was just a mile away from me. So I contacted them and went for, not an interview, just to introduce myself, and there we go. We went, we just, you know, took off from there. And it's fascinating. It's, you know, I was absolutely stunned what they had in there. It was just terrific. And from my point of view, because I do knit and I do crochet, but my background is mostly fashion. So I was excited to see some of the knitted, more fashionable items there.
Cool. So what kind of fashion things did you used to do then?
Well, what did I used to do?
Yeah, fashion background.
Well, I used to lecture in fashion design.
Oh, cool.
Yes, and history of fashion. I mean, I retired many, many years ago, so that was my background. And I also, way back when I was at college, I did textile printing as well.
Interesting. So what are the things you really enjoy about volunteering with the Guild?
Well, apart from what I've already mentioned about the fact that it, you know, the collection is superb, I think the main thing for me was meeting new friends. And I never thought at my age I would have a whole new contact, a whole lot of new contacts with friends. And I've met some lovely people, absolutely lovely people.
What are the skills and experiences you gain from volunteering?
Well, new experiences, obviously, because although I was involved in fashion, we had fashion shows, but I'd never actually done a photo shoot involving garments. So the 100 Objects project gave me an ideal opportunity to work with a professional photographer and put things on the stand, make sure that they looked right, that they were pinned in appropriate positions and that sort of thing. That was really interesting. And because of digital photography, you know, you get the picture instantly, so you can edit it on the spot, and that was fascinating as well.
What were your highlighted objects that you really enjoyed photographing in the 100 Objects?
Oh, I love the machine knitted knitting dress, the machine knitted wedding dress, which is very spectacular. And I think that, I don't know whether it was one of the favourites on Facebook, but it's superb. It's so sculptural. And one of my personal favourites is the little crochet 60s frilly dress. I love that. That's just spot on.
The pink one.
Yeah, with the ruffled neck and the you know, and the cuffs. It's lovely.
And for you, what are the good and bad bits about volunteering?
The bad bits, it's when it's very, very cold in the deep store. And well, if anybody doesn't know what the deep storage is, it's a very dimly lit hole with no windows where we keep everything, because they've got to be kept, you know, out of the light. And quite often you can spend a couple of hours in there getting things out, and you come out like a frozen brick.
You had to do quite a lot of that for the 100 Objects, didn't you? You had to.
I did. It was in August, and I was stuck in there doing, I had a list of the 100 objects that had been chosen, and I was getting the garments and the textiles out ready for photography, which I think we started in probably October. Can't remember now. But yes, I had to be quite determined to continue.
And what about the good bits? What have you really enjoyed?
The good bits, I think it motivates me. You know, I know I've got, well, present circumstances not, motivates me to go, and, you know, I've got something to look forward to, shall we say, in the week. It's not the only thing I do, but I do look forward to going. It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main thing about volunteering, isn't it? You've got to enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, I mean, not only the people I work with, but we have people coming when we do trunk shows. We have students coming, meeting our patrons and the board. It's all, there's a lot going on, really, a lot going on.
What have you got a favourite, a highlight meeting of someone, or a highlight trunk show that you've done? Or?
I think what I did love the one we did for the Stylecraft bloggers, and because they were so, well, most people are appreciative, but they were especially so, and they took a lot of photographs, and as a result of that, possibly Janie Crowfoot is now a patron. And we had also had a volunteer that came. She was, unfortunately, when we moved, she couldn't come. It was too far to come, really, basically. But that was a good outcome.
Good. Right. Thank you very much for doing this.
Okay.
So hi, I'm Frances. I'm with Amber today to talk about volunteering. Hi, Amber.
Hello.
So to start off, can you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about why you chose to volunteer with the Guild?
So my name's Amber and I'm studying textiles at Huddersfield University. I've just completed my second year, and so from September I shall be on placement, and my first placement is with the Knitting and Crochet Guild, and absolutely love it. I chose that because they were local. It was really easy to get to from Huddersfield, and I'd heard that other previous students had spent their placement year or time out of the year with them, and they really enjoy it, and everyone's really nice and they're all really passionate in what they do, and so yeah, I wanted to join placement there.
You're a machine knitter, aren't you?
Yes, I do. I have done a bit of it. I mean, I specialise in weave, but I have done machine knitting and I do enjoy that as well. I'm still yet to try out crochet.
Well, I recommend it. It's good fun.
Yeah.
So what have you enjoyed about volunteering? And I know you've been volunteering during this pandemic, but what have you enjoyed about volunteering so far?
I've enjoyed everything really. Obviously COVID going on, it has been a bit like more of a different approach. I didn't expect, so obviously this is how it's planned, but but no, I've enjoyed everything really. I've been doing social media posts on Facebook, so I've been learning and enjoying all about the 100 objects from the collection, and then I've been posting ones that I like and why, and always been trying to find like some of my similar work that I've recently done to try and match it up, and so you can see like from something old to current and how it can contrast, and so I've been doing those a couple times a week.
Oh, that's really interesting. What are the skills and experiences you've gained from volunteering?
I've learned a few skills, more of the social media side, because that's what I've been busy doing. I also learned at the start, I was doing posters for the Guild as well, and so I learned a few more extra skills on Photoshop when I was trying to put all the posters together. But I haven't obviously done social media for like another company before, so that was something new that I learned.
It's very useful as someone who now works in social media. And in your experience, what are the good and bad bits about volunteering?
Everyone's good. I can't really say anything bad about it. Everyone's so lovely and passionate and everything, and it's nice to like learn things from other people that are at a different generation than you. Obviously the bad thing, as I say, I can't physically be there at the mill doing physical experience and jobs with my placement, but I'm sure things will change soon and I'll be able to enjoy something and learn something new being in the mill.
And I know that you've been looking at the 100 objects on social media. Do you have a favourite item?
I do. They're also very individual, also very different. But it'll probably be the two jumpers that I've posted so far. No, the striped knitted one and the one with the 3D roses on. They are really both very pretty and they stood out to me.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much, and I'll thank you for doing this interview with me.
No problem. Thank you.
Welcome back! I hope you enjoy those interviews. The whole collection team works hard to look after all the interesting objects. This includes accepting new items and preserving the existing ones. You can see a video that I filmed previously about the preservation process, but in this video I'm going to talk to you about accepting new items. There is a lot of work that goes into creating a cohesive and interesting collection, and I'm going to talk through part of that process with you now. We need to see the item. When it gets delivered, we must look after it. The first step is putting it into the freezer as a precaution against moths. These clips show me doing just that. We've just had this parcel delivered, and we're going to unwrap it and pop it in the freezer as a precaution against moths in particular. It's come here after an email conversation and exchanges of photos so that we know if we want it in the collection. So I'll show you the bit of the process. In the parcel we're processing, there were lots of these balls of Angora mix yarn, and now I'm going to package them up in these plastic bags and I'll show you where I pop them. Hi, so here we are in the kitchen at the mill, and I'm going to pop these donations in this freezer here. Like so. And then when they've had a little bit of time to hopefully kill all the moths, they'll come out and be added to the collection. We have to decide if a possible donation would fit in with the rest of the items. There are a few areas we judge this on, and I have more in here to explain this decision process. Today I'm joined with Maureen, and she's going to tell us a little bit about this blanket that we're going to add to the collection. So take it away.
Thank you. Well, this blanket came into the collection quite recently as a donation, or possible donation, and we'll be having a meeting fairly soon to decide whether or not it fits the criteria. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the criteria and whether or not this blanket will fit it, and then we will take it from there with the person who's donated it. The first thing that we look at is the condition. And as you'll see from the condition of this blanket, there's no evidence of moth, which is one of the items that we're specifically keen to notice. We can see that the fabric itself is very well presented. You can't see the ends that have been joined in, and you can also see carefully how it's been stitched together. So in terms of its overall condition, this would fit the criteria. The second criteria is if it's got any unique features. Well, granny squares, as you know, are very, very popular, and blankets have been produced, and we have several of them, but the ones that we have in the collection have to have something extra and something special. And you'll notice that this particular blanket has got spaces between the joins, and also, although we would call it granny square, it is actually granny hexagon. So we have no hexagons in our collection, and therefore it would fit the second criteria. And the third criteria is if it's a duplication. Well, we're looking for unique items, and we have nothing at all in this sort of colour. We have nothing completely in these types of colours of wool, so that would fit the duplication criteria. The fourth criteria is whether or not it has a backstory. And these are really, really important for when we take the items on show, to bring the items to life, and also for us to be able to relate to the people who produce these wonderful items that we have. And there is a fascinating backstory to this item. The person who made it has passed away, and it was her daughter who has donated it to the collection, and the daughter has photographs of her mother, who was the person who made it, can tell us a little bit about the yarns, because many of them are what we call pullbacks, in that she had jumpers and cardigans and things that had been worn out in sections, so she pulled it all back, all the different colours, and decided to make it into granny squares. And she did this towards the end of her life. The backstory has got a lot more information. We will be able to have photographs of the lady, and the person who's donated it also has some indication of whereabouts the wool shops were where the yarn was purchased. So that gives a fascinating backstory for us to use to identify this as a unique item. And when we have our meeting, this will be accessioned into the collection. We'll contact the donor and ask them to fill in a form handing over the ownership to our collection.
Which I've got nicely one here to show you.
This form sets out the reason we're accepting it and also asks for the signature of the person who's going to donate it. They then keep a copy and we have a copy in our file, and we have another copy that travels round with the item to show that we have possession of it.
Each item goes through this process before we accept it into the collection. Once we have accepted an item, we sew in an accession number so we can link the item to the supporting documents database. These clips show one of the labels. Hi, so here I am again at the mill with this lovely lace waistcoat by Louisa Harding, and I just want to show you a little bit more of the process that donations take as they come into the collection. So as you will see inside all the garments and on the back of textile artwork, everything will get an accession number, which is a unique number so that we can find it in our documents. If you're interested in volunteering, there are lots of ways to get involved. There are ways you can help remotely as well as in person at the collection or at a local branch. If you think you might like to help in some way, contact us using the email address shown on the screen. I've always wanted to say that. If you'd like to see all 100 objects from the project, check out the collections page on our website, kcguild.org.uk. You can also find all the posts on our Instagram and Facebook pages, where everyone has been commenting with their own stories about the items. We hope you get involved.